It's bad enough that people try to project ISTP traits that they observe onto every ISTP that they know. They assume that they hear someone like me describe how I prefer things as an ISTP, and they assume that the ISTP that they're struggling with is going to be the same way. But, I guess I shouldn't really be surprised when the same thing happens with much broader categories like introverts. You see these articles like 10 things introverts wish extroverts knew, and it ends up being a list of things that, only a select group of INFPs or INFJs can relate to. It's written by an introvert who just kind of assumes that all other introverts are going to think the same things. Yeah, when I make my videos to talk about, how I do things or prefer things as an ISTP, I certainly don't mean to imply that every ISTP that you know is going to do things the exact same way that I do. People are different regardless of having the same personality types. That's why whenever people do ask for ISTP related advice, I usually, say stuff like, well, if you have a specific problem with an ISTP, don't ask ISTP general questions. How do you know if an ISTP is interested in you? Just ask that ISTP. And how do you respond to an ISTP who's asking your advice? Pay attention to what the ISTP is actually asking. If you want to know what a certain ISTP wants, well, don't ask me, ask that ISTP. I don't know your boyfriend or your husband or whatever ISTP you're having problems with. Learning about ISTPs can help you understand something you're observing in an ISTP that you know, but not to generate like specific advice for dealing with a specific problem with an ISTP. I mean, seriously, I've seen people ask like, what's a good birthday present to give an ISTP? If you have to ask it as a general ISTP question, you obviously don't know that person well enough to know anything beyond, okay, well, this person's an ISTP. Tell me what ISTP is like. Now the thing is, I realize that in a lot of cases when people are asking these kinds of questions on the typology groups, they actually have a reason for not talking about it with the ISTP in question. I'd say for most of the cases where they haven't actually tried talking with the ISTP about it, the reason for not doing so is just based on some irrational fear. Because sometimes when we tell the person, just ask the ISTP what he or she thinks, that person, well, let's just say certain people of certain types will respond with like, oh, I'm just afraid that's going to upset the ISTP, or make the ISTP angry, or scare the ISTP off. Alright, you know what? If you're one of those people, just be honest. You're not afraid of the ISTP getting hurt or scared or whatever. You're afraid of how the ISTP's reaction is going to make you feel. Okay, I don't mean to go all Dr. Phil on you, but that's just the reality. Okay, just at least admit that you're afraid of how the ISTP's reaction is going to make you feel. Usually, when somebody catches me off guard by bringing an issue to my attention that I wasn't prepared to discuss, or something that I'd never thought about before, I mean, yeah, it's going to catch me off guard, and I'm not going to know how to answer it right away, and I'm probably not going to say something that you necessarily wanted to hear, but it's not going to make me freak out about it, and it's not going to upset me or hurt me or anything. So yeah, don't worry about that, okay? Now on the other hand, maybe you have tried to talk to the ISTP about the issue, and either the ISTP just didn't have an answer, or didn't want to talk about it, or gave you an answer that you didn't like, and so you interpret it as not really a real answer. So then, of course, you decide to ask other ISTPs what they think the ISTP is really thinking. Okay, problem there is, I mean, first of all, I don't want to guess what the ISTP might have been thinking, because I don't, like I said, I don't know that ISTP, and so I don't know what he or she is thinking. But even if I could guess, I probably wouldn't want to, because, that's something that ISTP probably doesn't want you to know just yet. So if that ISTP doesn't want to talk to you about that issue, then neither do I. And if the ISTP gave you an answer that you don't believe is the ISTP's real answer, well, whatever the ISTP told you is probably what that ISTP wants you to accept at that moment. So, don't try to go and reinterpret the ISTP's words. As ISTPs, we usually say what we mean, or at least what we want to tell you. Okay, so then you're probably still left wondering how you should handle the situation between you and that ISTP, and well, if the ISTP doesn't want to deal with a problem at that point, it's really just your problem. You have to just take care of it from your end. Absolutely try and discuss it. Like I said earlier, try and ask the ISTP what they think about it. Try to work it out between you and the ISTP. But if the ISTP doesn't want to, then it's just your problem. You figure out how you want to deal with it. And at that point, you're probably better off asking people of your type about how to deal with that ISTP than asking ISTPs. If you ask ISTPs, we're more likely going to side with the ISTP than with you. Especially if I don't know you, and you're going to probably come across to me the same way you come across to that ISTP. So yeah, if you could just stop asking those kinds of questions on the ISTP forums, that would be great. I feel like I've talked about all this before. Be honest, you're afraid of how the ISTP's reaction is going to make you feel.